Hi, this is John Leslie. Development teams are constantly innovating while also maintaining existing capabilities, always with an eye toward reducing technical debt. Working in an iterative and incremental way suits these teams perfectly. Whether it's pure Scrum or a hybrid, this collection will get you started with a product backlog to prioritize and estimate backlog items, as well as track them with Favro Relations once they're committed to an iteration. The template also includes an iteration board and a product roadmap. Let me walk you through the template. So of course it all begins here in the product backlog, which is your list of prioritized backlog items, maybe also sorted by risk, and of course sized relative to one another. Over here on the right-hand panel, we have an iteration board, maybe for this team's first sprint, and we also have a product roadmap. So the way this works, say a new feature comes in, you're going to want to give it a priority and maybe a relative risk, and then of course a relative size. So since this is very high priority, it's probably something we're going to want to work on in our next iteration, and that'll get dragged and dropped into the iteration board, into that sprint backlog, as simple as dragging and dropping from the product backlog to that sprint backlog column on that iteration board. Now, if I scroll over here to what's called the relations column in this backlog, you're able to see the status of this new feature directly from the backlog, as well as the status of all of your other features that are currently in progress. So once this gets dragged into in development, you see that instantaneously back here in the backlog as well. Now you can also switch your board to maybe a burn down chart to see the progress towards completion for everything that you've committed to in this sprint. Are we going to finish on time with a dotted line velocity-based prediction into the future? You might also want to switch this board to a list view or a sheet view like you see here, with your default view, of course, being this Kanban view. Now, say this new feature, you also wanted to see it on a product roadmap. We could open up the product roadmap board and simply drag and drop it up here and set the dates by dragging and dropping like so. So now this same new feature card exists on 3 boards. It originated here in the product backlog. It is on this iteration board, and it's also in the product roadmap. And again, thanks to relations, we can see that this new feature is in development, and it's also tagged to release 1 based to where we drag that particular feature to on the product roadmap board. And there you have it, a development template in Favro.